The conclave has not yet made a decision. We saw black smoke coming out of the chimney on the roof of the Sistine Chapel. We know that it means that a new pope has not yet been chosen. But that also means that cardinals will continue voting. Starting Thursday, they will hold 4 ballots a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, until they reach a 2/3 majority agreement on who to elect. A few likely candidates have been mentioned in the past few hours, including the Italian Cardinal Parolin, who's seen as someone who's able to unite a very divided electorate, but also Cardinal Tagle of the Philippines, who's been dubbed the Asian Francis. But regardless of that, we know that the next pope should be mainly a pastor, someone who's able to bring people together. This is something that Cardinal Re, who held a mass before the first vote, also mentioned. He said, quote, that the next pope should awaken awareness. How long will it take? Well, it's hard to say. This is the most international conclave of all times. We know that the overall number of cardinals has increased, and that could make the whole voting process much slower. The atmosphere here is charged with anticipation. Some 1.4 billion Catholics, including the faithful who have gathered here from all corners of the world, simply cannot wait for the white smoke and to find out who their next leader will be. Giorgio Orlandi for Euronews in the Vatican.
After demonstrating against the government for 6 months, the student movement in Serbia is now demanding early parliamentary elections. The pressure over the deadly awning collapse at a train station in Novi Sad already caused a series of arrests. Students now say that the voice of youth is not just noise, but a force that can initiate changes.
Mi se stvarno nadamo da će vlast podržati ove vanredne izbore. Što se tiče liste, dogovorili smo se jedino da studenti ne budu na toj listi. Za dalje ćemo se dogovarati kako će se lista ta oformiti.
Serbian opposition says that in the last few months, the ruling coalition has lost its legitimacy to lead the country. The Green Left Front says that it can provide support to students because they have the same goal: the revival of institutions and the democratization of society.
Ipak mislim da suštinski zahtev za vanrednim parlamentarnim izborima i zahtev za prelaznom vladom su isti. Mislim da je cilj da prvo razvlastimo SNS, a da onda nakon toga sa jasnom većinom idemo ka boljem društvu i ka boljim izbornim uslovima.
SPS party MP Uglesia Markovic, who is part of the ruling coalition, said the current parliamentary majority is stable. He believes the way to improve society is not through the polling stations, but through political dialogue.
Socijalistička partija Srbije se nikada nije plašila izbora. Mi, kao što vrlo dobro znate, nismo za vanredne izbore. Uvijek ponavljamo da je potrebno da postoji jedan ciklus koji se održava na 4 godine kako bismo imali jedan kontinuitet.
The vast majority of liberal opposition parties in Serbia supported the call of student protesters for snap elections. But whether or not they will happen is yet to be seen.
Chinese President Xi Jinping arrived in Moscow on Wednesday for a 4-day visit ahead of Friday's Second World War Victory Day events. President Vladimir Putin called Xi Jinping his main guest, with talks planned on trade, energy, BRICS and their strategic partnership. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva also arrived in Moscow on Wednesday, his first official visit since Russia's full-blown invasion of Ukraine. On the same day, Putin also welcomed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The pair signed bilateral agreements which included cooperation on arms control and strengthening the global nuclear non-proliferation regime, according to state-owned Russian news agency TASS. Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel is also on the guest list. Meanwhile, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić faced travel disruption en route to the parade, with Baltic states reportedly denying airspace access. On Wednesday, Vucic's plane landed unplanned in Baku due to Russian airspace restrictions near Moscow, possibly over drone concerns. His plane later received clearance and continued to Moscow from Baku. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico reportedly experienced similar airspace difficulties.
They may be small and seemingly harmless, but emojis can carry more weight than you might guess, sometimes acting like digital social hand grenades. While some might see an emoji as friendly or funny, another might find it confusing or even offensive. To explore this further, passers-by in Reykjavik were asked to interpret a selection of emojis. Some found certain emojis joyful, while others thought it expressed sadness.
Hvaða merkingu leggur í þetta tjákn? Að vera leiður eða þreyttur eða eitthvað svoleiðis.
Ég myndi svona skjóta á að þetta væri sem sagt fallin frá.
Deyja. Þennan nota ég mjög mikið. Þetta var oft, þetta er þetta er eins og hlátukallinn nema bara hann er dauður. Það gefur svona svolítið skinn á að hafa dáið úr hlátri.
Þessi er svolítið leiður. Fyndið. En þessi?
Þetta er eitthvað sem er ömurlegt eða dauði.
Even the classic smiley face isn't always a safe territory. The degree of a smile and the shape of the emoji's mouth can send subtly different signals. The exercise showed that in the world of digital communication, meaning isn't fixed, and that even the simplest symbols can speak volumes.
2 Belgian teenagers found with 5,000 ants in Kenya have been given a choice of paying a fine of around 6,700 euros or serve 12 months in prison. 19-year-old Lornoy David and Seppe Lodewijks were charged with violating wildlife conservation laws. Their lawyer described the sentencing as fair and said her clients would not appeal.
Being young, it's a story they'll keep telling even their other generations. And when they come to Kenya, when other kids come to Kenya, they'll have reference to this. So it's good jurisprudence, it's good precedent, yeah.
Authorities said the ants were destined for European and Asian markets in an emerging trend of trafficking lesser-known wildlife species. The ants are bought by people who keep them as pets and observe them in their colonies. Several websites in Europe have listed different species of ants for sale at varied prices.
C'est un grand bâtiment en forme de caprice des dieux. Vu du dessus? Ah oui, non, mais je viens d'à même le sol là.
Pour qu'il y ait une histoire, il faut qu'il y ait du conflit, des gens veulent la même chose, ils se battent, voilà. Or, l'Europe, pour des raisons historiques, s'est construite à l'abri du conflit. Les institutions européennes ont été créées pour faire du compromis. Ce qui est une faiblesse de l'Union européenne, c'est-à-dire sa complexité, plusieurs institutions, plein de partis politiques, différentes nationalités, tout est fait en 24 langues, sur un ton long. Cette complexité-là, qui normalement est une faiblesse de l'Union européenne, quand on veut la faire comprendre, tout d'un coup, elle va devenir une force. Parce que la complexité est toujours un bon vecteur de comédie.
De l'amendement 45, naturellement, l'amendement 13 ne portait pas initialement sur le paragraphe 13. Hein.
Ouais.
Noé Debré, lui, il avait ce sentiment qu'il y avait une histoire à raconter. Moi, qui ai longtemps travaillé pendant les institutions européennes, je sais les coulisses des compromis européens, c'est-à-dire les coups bas, les tractations, les conflits qu'il peut y avoir entre députés, entre États membres. Et donc tout notre job de scénariste, ça a été de faire remonter à la surface le conflit que le public ne voit jamais, mais qui est bien là dans les institutions européennes, et d'en faire matière à fiction. Noé, moi et nos co-auteurs, on est très influencés par cette veine-là de la fiction américaine et anglaise. Dans le monde anglo-saxon, c'est beaucoup plus accepté qu'on peut rire de façon humaine, pas simplement à travers la farce, mais qu'on peut rire de la politique.
New friends, so happy. What a day, huh?
Could you give me back my...
Yeah. Tschüss.
Elle est en train de me tuer mon amendement, ça y est.
I've come with special instructions from Ingeborg for the presentation.
What are you doing?
I'm giving precise instructions for eye contact. Ingeborg, so to get what she wants.
C'est très très dur de faire rire à l'époque de Trump. Premièrement parce qu'il est plus burlesque que ce que nous on peut imaginer. Et j'ai l'impression qu'il y a en série comme en politique, il y a des cycles. Quand la réalité est trop absurde, tout d'un coup on veut se réfugier vers des séries qui parlent de sérieux. Et quand le réel est trop sérieux, on a envie d'aller chercher dans la fiction quelque chose de plus burlesque, de plus léger. J'ai l'impression que dans le Parlement, on est plus du côté de la comédie que de la satire parce qu'on a beaucoup de tendresse pour nos personnages. Il y a peu de personnages qu'on ne sauve pas finalement. Alors évidemment, on n'essaie pas d'encenser l'Union européenne parce que de toute façon, les gens ne seraient pas intéressés à ça. Mais on n'essaie pas d'en faire une critique. J'ai l'impression qu'on essaie de rire avec l'Union européenne. Pas de rire d'elle, mais de rire avec elle.